So this is one of my buddies that is disabled that I wanted to focus on in this video. This is my buddy Paul. We met about, how long ago was it?
I would say about 5 years.
And we met on Access Link, right?
Yeah. This actually is a service that you have to schedule in advance, about, I would say, 24 hours on average, really, or more, usually prior to 3 o'clock the day before. And with Access Link, you have a window in which you can get picked up or dropped off, which is usually around 20 minutes before your pickup time or 20 minutes after your pickup time.
It's a paratransit service.
Yeah.
You can either be picked up by a bus or a car, depending on your level of disability.
Yeah. It pretty much runs through New Jersey. They only go within 3/4 of a mile from a bus route. So if you live in a really rural area, then good luck. However, they are very useful.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Way to tell them. Good luck. Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll figure it out.
They're official if you live in suburban or urban type areas, because you can get most places that you need to go. There is a little bit of a wait time, but I mean, for the most part, you know, it still is relatively affordable, and it shadows the bus lines.
It's a very convenient service if you're disabled, if you have trouble getting to different places, if you have issues with transportation. You got the service. Did you have to go through an interview process?
Yes.
So I remember, I don't know if it was like this for you, but my interview was like super far away, and it was just like in this weird, like small little building, and it was this lady who took the interview very seriously for me, and she basically like over exaggerated my disability. She was like, "You need to sound very disabled for this. They've denied blind people," and I'm just like, "Whoa, like really?"
They denied me. The person who did my interview was essentially. It was a gentleman that was in an electric wheelchair with a service dog. He definitely had a more severe disability than I did, and I was pretty much. I figured I'm in a wheelchair, but I'm active. I'm an active individual, and but I'm fully disabled in a wheelchair. So that's how I impressed upon him, and then he denied me, and so. For years, I just rode the regular bus. I would, schedule in advance, just like you do with Access Link, and then it would take me to my destination. But whereas Access Link will take the shortest route between, when you use the regular bus, sometimes it can become a little bit further. Yeah. Imagine this: you go on Access Link, and essentially, it's about say 15 miles.
Right.
Essentially, it's going to go that 15 miles. Yes, it may pick up 5 or 6 people along the way and drop them off, but it's going to do the 15 miles. It may, give or take. But when you catch a regular bus, you may have to catch 3 buses.
I've been on trips that are like a few miles that should be 10 minutes. They've turned into an hour, so they've picked 15 people up in that small space.
It really depends on where you're located.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is that there's very many pros and cons of using this service. So if you live in New Jersey and you're thinking about using this service, proceed with caution. So you have a disability, you don't say.
Yeah.
You want to tell the people a little bit about your disability, since they know about mine already?
Okay, so my disability, I am a paraplegic T10 incomplete, which is your thoracic level of your vertebrae. It is chipped. So essentially, the shards went inward when I was damaged, and essentially it causes for, I guess, the nerves to be pinched, and that pinching caused for them to not function. Due to that, I am paraplegic. However, I can barely, very in a very limited fashion, move my limbs. However, it's not functional to a point where I can really use it for anything other than a parlor trick. But I stay active, I take care of myself, and I do range of motion exercises as well as move them as much as they do move. But you know, it's a physical challenge, but it's not a physical limitation. It doesn't stop me from doing what needs to be done. I look at a disability in this way. Everyone has something that they have to go through in their life.
Yep.
Rather it's they have, family that is pressing, they have financial concerns, they have social concerns, they they may have gender identification concern things differently. So it's just something different. It's just that when you are, disabled from a sense of being in a wheelchair, whether you be paraplegic, have MS or spinal bifida or whatever type of disability that you have, your disability is visible.
Right.
And not only is it visible, but it's barrier driven.
Right.
I'd love to come, but there are stairs.
Right. Yep.
I would love to come and everything, but the bathrooms are the size of matchboxes. And so, needless to say, in those situations, although you can do everything that everybody else does, you just have to do it differently. You have to plan differently, and there's just some places that you either won't go or you have to plan. You have to plan a lot before.
Somebody invites me to something, my immediate reaction is it accessible? And then if they ask what do you mean by that? Are there steps? What is parking like? Are there bathrooms, like you were saying? And usually the answer to those questions is, oh, I've never thought of those things. And then when they say that, my immediate reaction is, in my mind, whether or not I text it depends on the person, is yeah, because your legs work. Of course you never thought of these things. So many instances, just I never thought of these things, and it's just I'll
use the term ignorance, but ignorance is not always a negative. Ignorance is just a function of not knowing.
Right.
Now, the decision is that we all make is whether or not we're comfortable with not knowing, or if we're willing to know.
Right.
And so, as long as somebody is willing to learn, then it's easy to interact with them, and you can kind of bridge that gap. When they're not willing to learn, then that's what we usually we usually call ignorance. And when we consider those people,
that is the voice inflection
that we don't want to deal with too much. But for the most part, if you do not use a wheelchair and you walk everywhere, a little lip doesn't seem like a barrier to you. If you can get into any facility to use the bathroom, a smaller doorway doesn't seem like an issue to you.
Right.
If you can just easily go and get on the transportation, rather be a train or something, you don't think about are there how easy is it to get onto a platform? How easy are there ramps available? Are there attendants that are there? How fast does it move? A good example that I can use is when I went to New York City one time, and I was using their C train, and I had never been to New York using their C train before. I thought that if I waited and assist me, and that's not how New York works. New York works that when the doors open, you get in there any way you possibly can.
Right.
And if you don't, you will get left. So needless to say, I kind of learned at that point how to pop my chair up so that way I can get on the train. Because for the most part, they usually check, they're looking, and they're concerned with you when you are in New Jersey and definitely in Philadelphia. But in New York, it's a little bit different. New York is fast-paced. You need to be ready to do like everybody else and just move as fast as humanly possible.
New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania are 3 different states in a lot of different ways.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. When you were describing your disability, you were saying when you became when you became, did you say, I think it was broken, was it?
I forget exactly what I said, but I had a spinal cord injury due to a gunshot wound. So,
Oh, wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, so I was a victim of a crime, minding my own business, and I was in high school at the time. I was coming home, and unfortunately, I heard some footsteps, and that was pretty much it. So, went through that, had to graduate high school under some very tense, circumstances at the time.
Right.
So then, I continued. I moved on from there. Graduated high school. Graduated with associates, a bachelor's, and then I got my master's.
Nice.
And now I'm in the working class.
So, this has happened to me. I think it's happened to me a few times. One was very recently, but you used to not be disabled, where I've been disabled since birth. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel awkward or uncomfortable sometimes when I see other people in wheelchairs in public, because I'm afraid that we're going to have a talk about our disabilities, like compare stories, because this is why. Because recently, this actually happened to me in a mall. So we were going, me and this random stranger, on a together, right? And he came up behind me and he smiled at me like he knew who I was, right? And I looked at him, and he looked very similar to a friend of mine that is not disabled. So my immediate reaction was, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" Oh, okay, you're not who I thought you were. And then we go on the elevator together, and then I'm about to go off, and I was like, "Have a nice day." And he's like, wait. And then I'm just like, "Oh God, here, it's about to start." And he told me how he became recently disabled. And it's very ironic that it's he got similar to what you just said when he got shot.
Yeah.
But he was laying the sympathy on me. This is exactly what he told me. He said, "Recently I just got shot by the police in Philly. They got off, and I got a gun charge." And then he continues to tell me how he lives on public assistance in somewhere in Philly. I assume it's not a good area, because public assisted housing, and I have a friend who used to do that. It's not the best areas, right? And he's talking about how his family doesn't really talk to him. He doesn't have any friends, and he's looking for someone that he can share this, his experiences with.
Yeah.
And I am a dick, but I'm not that big of a dick where I'm gonna listen to somebody say that and be like, "All right, well, have a nice day." That's what I have a job. I offered him, the opportunity to apply at my position, and we talked a little bit, and then we went our separate ways, and then for a few moments he he didn't follow me, but I went into one store. He waited until I got out to ask me another question, and I'm just I don't want to start following me all day. But I'm willing to talk to you, right? And then he never texted me back. So now I'm that's kind of weird.
Definitely have people come up to me on the street and they try to either sympathize or empathize with me, right? If they had or did not have a physical disability.
Right.
But when it's someone with a physical disability, especially when it's new, I've come to realize it's because they're dealing with a certain amount of emotional turmoil, and they know how to deal with it, and they almost think that you may have the answer. And the problem is that you do not have the answer. I was a very spiritual person before I got injured. Secondly, I had a mother and a father that were there and supportive. Third, I had a home instruction teacher who meant the world to me. And because of all of that input, that positive force that I had, I was able to, be productive.
Right.
And you had, a mother and a father, you had a family.
Right.
But it's not the same for everyone.
Exactly. I remember growing up in school, and kids either just to be jerks or they legitimately felt this way would say, "I don't know how you do it. If I was you, I would kill myself." And I'm that's different though, because you're used to what you're used to. I've always been this way, so you don't know. I don't know what I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
So I could see someone in your situation, in this person's situation, getting very depressed, feeling differently about how their situations have changed, how their circumstances have changed, and now having to cope with this new situation. But we've talked, and I feel like, you know, the overall message, at least for my channel, should be to always stay positive, you know, doing what you like to do, doing what you enjoy to do, like, you know, do things because it's important to you and not because what, you know, other people want you to do or what you feel like you need to do. Like, people have different opinions about people in different situations, and everybody has a different story. And I want to thank you for sharing yours today.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you continue to watch more videos in the future, and like, share, and subscribe. I'm just James.